Hello and welcome back to Dream Chasers. I'm your host, Adam Carswell. For the sake of today's interview, General Moses. I think I'm going to be calling myself General Moses on the podcast here more often now. So, very excited about today's interview conversation. Some more leaders of the new school. If you guys listened to the last episode, we just had Rerun, who is a DJ producer who just got signed one of his records to Toolroom Records, and now we've got Shan and Emma Clair here, who
Hey.
if you
Hey.
listen, what's up, guys? What's up? If you listen
Yeah, good,
to
thank you.
the compilation, and I listened to it again yesterday because I'm like, all right, you guys are coming on the show today. If you want something just in your face, like let's go, it's game time. There's a reason why their song is number one on the compilation, right? It's the first one you listen to. So um on that note, guys, I'm so happy to have you here and get to know you. So Shan and then Emma in that order, if you guys just want to say, hello and what you're looking forward to talking about today.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Shan. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking about. I always love talking about anything to do with production or DJing. And obviously we've all got a commonality with being on Toolroom. So yeah, just chatting about general interests, and anything musical makes me happy.
What about you, Emma?
Hey guys, my name's Emma Clair. So yeah, as Shan said, super excited to geek out about music production. It's literally my favorite subject, and it's also nice to be on the other side of the microphone because I used to do my own podcast, so I'm used to interviewing people. So yeah, it's
Oh,
nice to
cool.
be in the hot seat for a change rather than me talking. So yeah, super excited.
And you've got I mean, you've got the setup that shows Shan and I up as far as who's the most serious about music production. So
Yeah, I am in my studio, but you can't see it from Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna put my hand up and say I can't take like credit for this lovely setup. I'm actually at my boyfriend's house, Adam
Okay,
Element, giving him a cheap plug. So this is all his amazing setup.
good for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to dive into the tool room story, and then I also want to figure out how you guys met and started working together. To begin though, and we'll just go Shan and Emma again. Shan, when did you first listen to anything from Tool Room, and then how did you find out about the Academy?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this actually. When did I first like recognize Toolroom, sort of songs? One obvious one for me, well, anything to do with Toolroom, Mark Knight was his remix of Man with the Red Face. Like that
Oh
is
wow,
still my
okay.
favorite ever songs. And then I think it was really like over the last when I got really passionate about DJing and knew that I wanted to produce music. I found myself gravitating towards all of the Toolroom tracks, like whether it was on Toolroom main label or Toolroom tracks. I love the sound equally as much. And then I found out about the Academy. I'm pretty sure it was through just following Toolroom Records and then seeing stuff pop up and thinking, oh, what's this? And then they did an event in London at E1 London, which was like a networking event. And I didn't really think that I was ready to go to it yet, but I thought I've got nothing to lose, so let's give it a go. Jumped on a train on my own, headed down to London, handed in a demo. They played it in front of everybody. I was like sweating, so nervous, and then I handed in another demo, which was like a competition that they'd ran.
Yeah.
I ended up winning the competition and winning a scholarship at the academy.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's how it started for me.
That's pretty cool. Okay. So we got a scholarship athlete here with us today, Emma. What about you, Emma? How did you first discover the label and what brought you into the academy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's like, as I said, like I had a quick listen to your podcast, and that was one of the questions that you asked. And I was trying to think myself, like, wow, when did I first think about like get into it? I think one of the first Mark Knight tracks, I think, was the Florence and the Machine remix of You Got Love, which I remember hearing. And probably a few more of his going back when I wasn't really into like house and tech house back then, but I'd always been aware of obviously Mark and the label. And obviously, as my sounds kind of deviated towards that sound. Obviously, Toolroom make up such a big proportion
of the good music that's around there. So it was like natural for me to kind of like, it was a bit of a rabbit hole, I started listening to Mark, and it was like, wow, there's all these other awesome artists that I kind of discovered off the back of that. And my kind of personal journey into the label, I think it was like 5 years ago when they did the very first We Are Listening event. So that was organized by a lady called Vicky. And at the time I was actually I enrolled with a course by a guy called Danny Savage, and he actually helped me like write a pitch email to Vicky and like argue my case as to why I should be like at the at the We Are Listening event. And thankfully it worked. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. But as Chan said, like she had a demo listen to, like it was Left Wing and Cody doing the A&R feedback, and like looking back now, like if I could hear that track that I submitted, I'd be like, oh my god, it was so bad. And but yeah, so from there I decided to sign up to Toolroom Academy. I actually did got an Arts Council grant for developing your creative practice, and I didn't actually do that course as part of that, but the money I paid myself I actually used to invest into Toolroom Academy, and I'm so glad I did, because the rest is history, as they say.
Wow. Okay. Powerful stuff. I love hearing. I'm looking forward to doing more of these interviews, guys, because like hearing everyone's story. I don't know, but it sounds like similar. I'm so happy that I actually am just like a huge Toolroom fan, that when you say any of these songs or names or Left Wing Cody, and you talked about, Man with the Red Face, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
one thing that I'll never forget, and you helped just make it even more obvious, when I got to meet Mark. I went to London Calling, which was like a Toolroom. They do that every summer. So I went to one last year. And I never forget talking to Mark, and I'm like, what's one thing that you think that maybe I'm not paying attention to right now that you would recommend I pay attention to as someone who's newer? And he just said, focus on the music. And I didn't even really know what that meant at first, but I kept thinking about it. Focus on the music, focus on the music. It's like focus on the creation, the production, like getting your tracks out there. Because ultimately the music is what hooked all of us in. The music is what, like, the creativity is what brings everything together. And the first song that I heard from Toolroom was Your Love by Mark Knight. So like by him focusing on the music is how I got here, how you guys got here, so it just focus on the music, guys. I'm not saying that to you, I'm saying to anyone listening, because I know you guys already get that. How did the duo begin? Are you guys an actual duo, or is that just like an academy thing? Or tell us what the future of Emma, Clair, and CHANNE looks like.
Yeah,
do you want to go, Sharon? Or
yeah, but I'll start, and then Emma can do the next half. So what I'll do, we met at the We Are Listening event, which Emma's spoken about previously, and it was my first one actually that I'd been to. And that was it November or December, Emma?
Yeah, it was. I think it was near Christmas. So I remember like being stood under the Christmas tree in the train station of London. So yeah,
it was near Christmas, yeah. So we met down there, and you can you can tell as soon as we speak, we know we're from near each other. The same sort of a similar Northern England accent.
Yeah.
So then it was like, hang on a minute, where are you from? Where are you from? Found out that Emma's Manchester, like I'm like near Liverpool-ish. And I was like, oh, this is sick. And then we got talking about music, what sort of music we like, what we produce. And then we thought, hang on a minute, it would probably work quite well for us if we met up at some point and tried to produce a track together. So we kind of kept in touch, and we floated ideas. We made a Spotify playlist and like floated ideas backwards and forwards on that, of like tracks that we were really vibing and that we think we'd like to make together. And yeah, we booked a few sessions in Pirate Studios in Manchester.
Nice.
And laid down some beats, didn't we, Emma?
Yeah, we did. I mean, it's been really cool. Like Shan and I, we have a very kind of like, Shan's work ethic is like this, and that's really cool. Yeah, exactly. That's why we gel, because we're both so driven, and it's been great to meet up, because we're both, we're on it, like, off the back of the track. We've had a photo shoot, we've already got, sent Shan like 2 or 3 loops already, and we're like, yeah, when's the next one? It's like, it's never ending, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's been really awesome to work together. Like our styles have really complemented each other as well. I think with some collabs that I've done in the past, it might have been a bit of a struggle, but this one, we've both got our own identities, but together they've kind of, they've really worked together, which is great.
Yeah, I think like it's worked well. We've both learned things from each other
Yeah, 100%.
every time we sit down in a session, and I think that's like the biggest thing about collabing is to try and do it like when you can, when you've got time to do it, or try and do it because you're always going to learn something new off somebody,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah, it has
it
been really
really,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, really helps.
Yeah.
And like in terms of like whether like it for the future, like we're both working as singular artists ourselves, but we do have a number of tracks in the work together as
We
Oh,
well.
do,
great.
so who knows what will
Yeah.
happen? Watch this space. And I think also that as a duo, we do look pretty cool together in those photos that we had done.
I,
They're pretty good.
I was gonna say, are we looking at Jen Getz and Alfie 2.0 or what?
Who
Who
knows?
knows? We shall see. Never say never.
That's cool. Well, yeah, you guys, I saw, a little bit of some of the work you've done together. Obviously with the compilation, and then I see you're posting some stuff on social media right now, which is pretty cool to check out. So, guys, make sure we'll have links down below to Shannon and Emma's Instagram and all that good stuff. Make sure you go ahead and give them a follow. So let's talk about Jump and Twist.
Yes.
As soon as you press, now you know what, I haven't listened to the extended mix yet, but I would assume it's not too different. As soon as you listen to you press play on the compilation, you're like, wow, this is in my face in a good way. Because
Yeah,
there's
Yeah.
such
it
thing as
definitely
music
packs a
that's in your
punch.
face.
It's like straight in there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You hear this song, and my vibe, I'm like listening to some like, how do these how these two white girls from England know like Caribbean tribal music like this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it does seem like there's a trend coming here with what I call it Caribbean tech house. I don't know what the actual
Yeah.
tribal is, but you guys are like, you're hitting right on like my vibe. I'm like, who is
Oh,
this?
cool.
So
Cool.
Yeah, I've always liked the tribal. I think it's
Same.
hard not to, do you know what I mean? The whole kind of looking back on the tribal, kind of the way the dances brought people together, and it's all, that hypnotic rhythms and everything. It really transfers to dance floor. And I even played it to my parents. They were like, yeah, this is great. It's going to dance. So
that's, hey, you
it's,
get the parents' approval. That's important.
exactly. You get the parents' approval, you're doing all right.
Well, there's something with the drum, the percussive elements you guys use too that are completely on point. And I did have a friend of mine tell me one time, he's like, if you trace everyone's roots far back enough, at some point we were all dancing to drums in Africa. If you go back far enough.
Exactly.
And I think there's
Exactly.
some validity to that. There's like a primal instinct where
Yeah.
as humans we're really drawn to the drum. And that's why I love it so much. And you guys clearly brought that out in your song in a way that that needed to be brought out. So I guess could you talk about like putting the song together? Did you know that's the direction it was going to go from the beginning, or was it more were you guys just throwing stuff against the wall? Like how was it created?
Yeah, yeah. I think the initial start point was that we knew we wanted like that driving feel and that sort of like I call it chuggy
Yeah,
warehouse
it's definitely chuggy.
kind of, it's got that you've got it hits you in the feels sort of thing. And we like a lot of our reference tracks, like some of them were Mark Knight's tracks, and he does a bit of the grittier stuff that lands on that sort of direction. I'm trying to think. We also liked people like Too Late.
Yeah, we have Crazy in there and
And
Alice
Cruisy,
Mars, all
yeah.
that kind of vibes.
So all those sort of vibes we were digging, and then it was we kind of knew what sort of way we wanted to go with the vocal, but it took a long time to get them.
Well, you did.
Yeah,
You did
it was awesome when it came together.
Yeah, when we landed it, we
like,
were like,
played it. We're like, yeah, that's the one.
Well, you guys with the vocal, I want to commend you as well, because one thing I think is like really important. So I lived in Belize for a couple of years, and it's funny. Like if you look on a map, Belize is technically Central American, but if you ever tell any Belizean that they're not Caribbean, like you're gonna have a problem. You see, like make sure. So, I always want to focus on like when I hear some Caribbean type of vocals, like does this actually make sense? If I was gonna send it to my friend in the Caribbean, like would they know what they're saying? And you guys
Yeah.
took whatever soundbite it was is actually like comprehensible. It wasn't just like chop, bop, 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 bop. Like it's
Yeah, I
actually
know what you
someone
mean.
saying something
Yeah.
in a Creole, gal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
yeah,
how did you find that?
with
Oh, it's Jan.
a
You
lot.
got it, didn't you?
Yeah, I stumbled upon this pack, and then I was like, I was like, this is good, but I don't like the sentences that he's coming out with all in one. Like, I feel like there's multiple sentences we could, like for the breakdown,
Yeah.
when he really talks quite a lot, I was like, right, this needs to go with that, and let's try this with that, and let's make our own phrase up. And
Yeah.
then the bit that I like, and then we land, and then we were like, yes, jump and twist, that's the hook. But then it was Emma who said, well, I was like, what can we use for like a bit of a vocal that's catchy throughout? And she was like, well, let's put it in a sampler and play it on the piano. And then that's how we got the jump on, jump on, pan, jump
Yeah.
on, jump
The
on
little rhythm. It's so
sampler.
good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Emma's
good
the
tip
wizard.
actually. If you're
Yeah.
struggling, put it into a keyboard and play instead of trying to program stuff, because yeah, the creative kind of juices flow a lot more.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's so cool. So you put the track together. Do you send it in
Oh yeah.
to Toolroom A&R? Were you guys in the academy at the time? Like Rerun, I don't know if you remember your time. There was like the one person who gets their track kind of chosen, and I was like, I wish that was me. That was
No.
Rerun. Did that happen to you guys? Or how?
No. We actually, funnily enough, we made it, and then the day that we decided we like this, I was like, right, I'll send it in. I'll send it to Carly and see what she thinks of it, because it literally from another female producer's perspective, that's all we wanted, was like,
Yeah,
does she think
that's
this
a
might
second
work?
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a second opinion, and she was like, right, I'm putting it on YouTube for the live A&R feedback at 3 p.m. today. And we were like, what? Like,
Yeah, I think I was on holiday at the time, so I was like,
yeah,
the
Emma was
message, like,
away.
it's getting played on YouTube. I was like, let me know what they say, let me know. And just like sent me all the videos. So it was like, no way, like the comments were like going off, and like,
So
Comments
that
went
they do
through.
those live. Is that live session?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was live. It was it Pete and Danny that were doing it?
yeah, because
Yeah,
like
their reaction was just hilarious. Like,
it
I was
was
gonna say,
brilliant.
like, oh, they need to lie
Yeah.
down after that one.
well, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. It'd be cool to go back because I think that would probably be, if it was live, it's still probably on YouTube somewhere,
it
It
is.
right?
is,
It
yeah,
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah. The
It
initial
is.
reaction, we got to find that.
yeah. It's a good one.
Cool.
But
I'll
yeah,
see you. Go ahead,
I
Chen.
was gonna say the YouTube feedback is a great platform. I think it's such a good
Yeah,
idea, because like
definitely.
we were chosen that day, which was great. I know a lot of people send in, sometimes you could chosen, sometimes you're not, you might be chosen the week after. But just to get that like initial feedback on, because it's like, Danny said, oh, there's a couple of things that I would change, but like even to hear like, maybe
Mm.
take 8 bars out of the breakdown, maybe do this, maybe do that. I think for anybody, you just need as many opinions as you can possibly get, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think when you've been working on a record for so long, you can sometimes lose sight. So to get a fresh pair of ears that's never heard it before, and obviously as well, I think it's just really cool for up and coming producers to get the opportunity to be able to get their tracks played by Toolroom on the A&R YouTube. It's such a cool service. So yeah, shout out to Toolroom.
Nice. Now, something just ran through my head. I'd love to get you guys' take, because as someone from, typical American guy, I have no idea. But Liverpool and Manchester, there's a
Yeah.
little beef there, isn't there? A little football action.
Historically, there's. I'm not really into football though, so I'm alright.
Yeah, there is, but they're both great teams, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
They
Spoken
are.
like
Yeah.
a so spoken like a true
That's
dynamic
our
duo.
story, and we're sticking with it.
I do support Liverpool, but I also think that Man United and Man City are great teams. I'm not going to deny that. So
Yeah, they are.
All right. Let us know in the comments what you guys think.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm staying out of this one. Nothing to do with it.
So let's talk about the future. We'll say independently and then together as well. And I know we go with Shan first on a lot of these. So Emma, yeah, independently, what are you working on? And another fun. Well, yeah, just go ahead. What are you working on for the future, and then we'll get into some more.
Yeah, sure. Great question. Well, I've got multiple projects on the go. Always have those projects to go. But I've actually kind of taken a step back as well personally for my production journey. I found that I'd kind of got to a certain point that, I was like, right, something needs to change here. So I've actually, off the back of CHANNE actually sending me the link, I've joined Fader Pro. So I've been investing a lot of my time into watching tutorials. So I'm actually working my way through the Ellis Moss one at the moment. Obviously, that's very much in line with the jump and twist track that we've just done. So yeah, I'm investing a lot of my time into improving. Also, I've got quite a few well, yeah, about a few tracks that were released at the moment that I'm sitting on, but I'm not rushing anything at the moment. I think from my personal point of view, I'm getting as much as I can out of each track that I release and just learning as I go, because like, you know, knowledge is power, as they say, and I'm just absolutely loving learning. So that's my journey at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And it's reassuring to hear you say that. And I think Rerun talked about it a little bit too. I'm someone who I can't help but just like get excited for what's next too. I'm sure you guys can relate in some way. Like we've got all these things in
Yeah.
the back burner. It's like, do I
Yeah.
send these to Danny now or do I just keep dancing at this party? You know?
Exactly. It's easy to get overexcited and trigger finger, isn't it? It's like, oh, I've done it right. Yes, send it off. But yeah, I think the more you go through these things, the more you learn, and that's what it's all about. You know, constantly learning.
So yeah, I'm doing my best to just soak it up right now too, and still create, you know, on the back end. So Shan, what's going on in Shan's world? I think you said, are you a mom?
Yeah, I have a
All
3-year-old.
right, good
Yeah.
for you. Yeah, I'm a daddy.
Yeah,
So
inspirational. True inspiration.
How old are your kids?
I have a soon to be 11-month-old who just went for a walk with his mom, and we have one due in March.
Oh wow.
So around the
Wow.
corner,
Okay,
yeah.
you are going to be busy.
Yeah. That was my biggest thing during the academy. We didn't have any babies yet, but he was coming. And I was asking Pete like every day, I'm like, I know you're a dad. Like, is this possible to do this while being a dad?
Well,
And
funnily enough, I was in exactly the same predicament because I started learning to produce about 4.5 years ago. And so Brooks, she's 3 now, she was 3 in June. So I was like a year and a half into finally knowing what I wanted to do with my life, throwing all my time and money at it, and then fell pregnant and was like, oh my days, what do I do? Because how do I do this? So spent like basically all through my pregnancy, I still was on my courses, I was still learning. Even when I'd had her, you know, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd look after her, I'd be reading, I'd be doing stuff, and just plowed on, even though it has been exhausting. Like, it has been so tiring.
yeah, as
But
you as the mom, I know I have no room to even say that it's been exhausting, right?
it is. But, you know, the kids are amazing. But you've really got to put in that extra time. I mean, I get up at 5 a.m. and I spend like 2 hours on my own working, starting on something or finishing a project or listening to it again, because I've got those 2 hours. I know I've got them to myself, and it's pushing yourself to like put in those extra hours. You know, they go to bed, you're absolutely exhausted, but you know you should turn on your laptop and do a bit more. So it's like a constant grind, but it's all good. It's all good.
Relatable. I mean, it makes you prioritize the time that you do have more,
Yeah.
and in a way make you more productive. Now you got someone like Emma who's just naturally just a beast, so she doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never used to be like that, you know, and I think from not being like that, now I am like that. It's made me want to be like that more. Because, you know, I'm self-employed, I've got all this time on my hands, and I wasn't always utilizing the most of the time. But I think when you catch that bug, and you know, as artists, if you to be a good artist, you've got to be driven, and like, you know, you've got this, you know, obviously we've got a track on Toolroom, but you're always on to the next thing. It's like, right, what's next? It's never enough. It's like, I want more.
So as far as Shan and
Oh
Emma
yeah,
Claire,
sorry.
the duo, no, you guys are good. This is good content. Thank you
I
so
didn't even answer the question properly, did I?
much. Well, yeah. What's I think you did briefly, you know, in store for you
Um,
personally, and then for you guys together.
yeah. I've got a release coming out at the end of the month, on a Canadian label called Play.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
it's actually a remix. It's my first remix that's coming out as a release.
Awesome.
Um, so I'm excited about that. Something different, my first other label than Toolroom. Um, and yeah, I've got multiple projects that I'm working on that are nearly finished, and obviously more collabs with Emma. But I do tend to sit on my tracks for quite a while.
Yeah, relate.
I don't personally think they're either good enough or ready to send out,
Yeah.
and I need to stop doing that because I've got like 4 or 5 that I could easily send out today, but I'm like, actually, I'm not sure it's good enough. You
Yeah,
know?
I can totally
So,
relate to that one. I think that's one of the hardest parts of production, isn't it? It's knowing when to say it's finished and
yeah,
having the
to let
confidence
go,
to let go, as you say,
Yeah.
because it's putting your heart and soul on the line, and it's putting it out in the public eye, and it is nerve-wracking. So yeah, I can totally relate.
It's and it happens all over, just I'd say anywhere creative. As a live example, like as soon as this interview is done, do whatever I can to get it up as soon as possible. Now there will be an edited version that comes out if you guys subscribe to Dream Chasers, and this for everyone listening, like you can listen to the edited version later. But like this is hot. We're getting it out now. We're not gonna wait on it,
Yeah.
unedited. So but yeah, for the duo, for you guys.
Yeah.
You getting together often moving forward? You gonna do any shows together? What are you thinking in that regard?
Yeah, we got together, was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, last
We
week
got a new one.
I don't know if you've seen the little video mix we did.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
got the link to that.
Yeah, we'll
we
get a
were
link to
both
that too.
jumping about like lanes, which was good. So
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we've got a few that are actually different. They're all different flavors to each other.
yeah,
So we've got like a very synth driven, really, really cool track. And then we've got one that we're like, it's all about the breakdown, and it's just this huge synth, and it's like we don't even know which label would take this because we don't know where it falls.
Yeah.
Like, is it like for Trick? Would Patrick Topping like this, or we think do you know what I mean?
That's a little bit of a cheeky clue as to the vibe.
Yeah,
I'll drop in the Patrick Topping.
Yeah.
Shannon and I both have a love of like old school sounds, like 90s trance, dance, and all that stuff. So potentially a little bit of that might have snuck into our music.
Curiosity is the key to all marketing. So you got my attention. I'm ready. I'm ready to see it.
I mean, we have got a few bits of the go, haven't we? We've got another track that we had a vocal in it, and now we've listened to it like, well, it's good, but I reckon we can do better. So we're gonna
again, like the vocal being such a big part of it. Like we had a vocal, and now like when you go out and you hear the same vocal in a song, and you're like, oh man, that's just ruined it for me because I've heard that sort of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But we've got lots to be going on with, like both individually and collectively as well. So
to close it out, and you guys will do on the note of individually together. I think this kind of it flows in that realm too. But Shan and then Emma, if you had one dream gig or venue that you could take, that you're going to play at, it's confirmed, it's next Saturday, what is that for you, Shan?
It's a tie between the two. Can I say it?
Go ahead, yeah.
Either Ushuaia or High in Ibiza. Like dream gig.
Yeah, it's gotta be Ibiza. I mean, I was gonna say, like, if it had still been open, mine would be Space in Ibiza, but it's not. So I'm gonna go with Amnesia, because that's always been a proper vibe for me, that club.
Nice.
What's yours? What's yours?
Yeah, what's yours?
Oh man. So it's funny. I think I need to immerse myself more in the European house realms, kind of like feel in the American realm. Like the first thing that comes to mind for me is like EDC,
Nice.
like ultra, that type of stuff. However, if I'm being true to my roots and I've like connected the dots here, I do think that I would like to play at Ministry of Sound.
Yeah,
it's
like
a good one. I've been lucky enough to play there a couple of times, and it's it's a vibe.
Because that's like where this all started. Like I was like looking into the history. Like Mark was a resident DJ there when he started Toolroom Records. I didn't know that until like I listened to episode 700 recently. But and when I had Danny on the podcast a while ago, he said that he would want to play at Ministry of Sound too. So I'm like, okay, if all the big names, all the cool people want to play at Ministry of Sound, I guess that's where I want to play too. But thank you for asking. We just said everyone's places. You know what? Would it be different if it was both of you guys? Like if you knew it was both of you, is there one where like that's the one that we're both doing together?
I think we're sold on Ibiza.
Yeah, we're definitely sold on Ibiza. Do you know what? I'm not going to be fussy if anywhere in Ibiza.
Me neither. Like I'll take anything.
We'll be there.
Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys play there one day because it's going to happen.
Same.
Thank you.
Thank you both for investing your most valuable resource with us here today, your time. We're going to get your links below in the comments. We'll go Emma and then Shan. Parting words of wisdom to our audience.
Oh God! Before I say that, I just want to say a shout out to you on your track, Jenny Moses, because the vocal in that is just like it's super catchy. It's such a vibe. But yeah, my parting words, God, that is a good one. I'd say be true to yourself and never give up on your dreams.
Love it. Shan.
Okay, mine's very similar, and I have it tattooed down my spine, and it says, "Believe it, and you will achieve it." So similar.
Yeah, powerful.
Yeah.
It's crazy how simple yet true it is.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, thank you for tuning into another episode of Dream Chasers Adventures in the Future. We were joined today by Shan and Emma Clair, two of the hottest DJs and producers out of Manchester and
Thank you.
Liverpool. I had to think for a second. Liverpool. Make sure you go follow them. All the information is down below. We'll catch you in the next episode. And remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.